When purchasing a home, make sure that you use a good agent who's going to do the due diligence to make sure that you don't buy a home that comes along with a big problem. Welcome back to the Local Loop. Today we are with Lisa Watkins, a team member on our team, who recently had a situation with an underground oil tank. So tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, when you're buying a house, you need to make sure your realtor does due diligence and make sure there's no underground oil tank in the property.
Right. So in this instance, they filled out a property disclosure.
And they said it was unknown. And because the house had been completely gutted and renovated and was gorgeous, it didn't seem like there would be a need to check. But I checked anyway and found that there actually is an underground oil tank in the property.
Wow.
The reason this can be a problem is because you no longer are allowed to have those in Connecticut. And if you do, they need to be removed. After the removal, the soil needs to be tested to make sure there's no contamination. And if there is, the remediation can be very costly.
Yes.
The other option is to have it abandoned properly and filled with stone and the soil tested to make sure there's no contamination, and the town holds those records. So I did my due diligence. I found out there was an underground oil tank. Thankfully, it was properly abandoned and no contamination was found. But getting ahead of that made sure that the closing would go much more smoothly. Because had we found this out the day of the closing or prior to the closing, it would have gotten held up.
Oh, absolutely. Or worst case would be if your buyers closed on this and didn't check, and they took the owner's word that it was unknown. And then when they went to sell, that a buyer then did a metal detector test to find out that there was a tank there. And God knows like how much oil was left in that tank, or how much contamination, or if it were near a stream or a lake, then you're dealing with a whole nother issue. So good work on that. Yeah.
And actually there was another case. I had a buyer just recently who wanted to put an offer on a house with a pool. Turned out there was no permit for the pool. The pool was not to code. It was too close to the septic system. But the previous owners kind of flew it under the radar. And so the problem is, if the town discovered it, they would either have to move the septic system, which is very costly, or close up and remove the pool. So we ended up finding this out and said, you know what, thanks but no thanks, and found a different house that was much more suitable for them without any problems.
Without major risk down the road.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, good work, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for watching The Local Loop. We'll see you next time. Thank you.